We're about to do a front sprocket change. And we all know this bike. Y'all seen this bike several times. This is our baby. What did it say back there?
You said we got it in here to try and make it go fast.
No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace is getting a front sprocket change. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the axle bolter loose on the rear to ensure that we have slack for the chain. I've already taken the bolter loose and loosened the nuts to move the chain forward. Now we're going to take off the front sprocket cover. Now here we have the air shifter, so we're gonna have to move the air shifter. I don't hear no Jeopardy music, yeah? Oh, okay. Oh, there go Mr. Will. Remember, we always talk about you shouldn't use power drills and power tools when you're working with motorcycles, but to make this quick and fast, I'm going to use power tools. Again, ensure that you read your manuals so when you're putting the stuff back together, you know what to torque every bolt down to. One, two. We're going to take the sensor loose just so we can free up the space. That's the kickstand. Now that we have the cover removed, now we're going to take a 6mm Allen and take the speed sensor bolt off. How Gris, can you hold the back brakes for me? The reason you take the slack off the chain so when it's time to pull the sprocket off, you can maneuver the sprocket out of there. Got the speed sensor off. Bolt, the speed sensor bolt. Now we got to actually take the actual sprocket nut off. Now that we have the sprocket bolt off, spacer. Okay. Well, a little like we don't have enough slack in the chain. Remove the chain off of the rear sprocket so we can pull the chain off the front. There we go. Now, we're going down one tooth on the front to give the bike a little bit more pulling power. In drag racing or just outright riding a motorcycle, we change the gearing on motorcycles to ensure that we have the right pull. This came with an 18-tooth sprocket on the front, so we're going with a 17-tooth sprocket on the front, which equals out to about 2.5 teeth in the back. So, no justice, no peace, gonna be pulling pretty good now.
Stock wheelbase on your ass.
And being that it's stock wheelbase, as Mr. Grit said, we're gonna ensure that the front wheel stay off the ground at all times.
Sometimes.
All times.
Stays off the ground at all times?
Yes.
Oh,
On the ground.
he said off the ground.
Off the ground?
Off the ground.
Hey, that's fine too. Total mail on the head.
Now that we have the sprocket on there, we're gonna put our spacer back on. And we're gonna put our lock nut back on. Now, you wanna make sure on this front sprocket that you get this front sprocket on properly. I'm using air to ensure that I get this sprocket on properly.
Sorry, you gotta get a sign or something.
Now that we changed the front sprocket, if you look, that allows the back wheel to come back farther. So, by changing the front sprocket, you're actually extending the wheelbase of the motorcycle. You're making it longer. So, that allows the front wheel to stay on the ground more when you take it off. So, you're making the bike actually longer by putting a smaller front tooth sprocket on. You have to ensure that you read the lines on the swing arm to ensure that you have the wheel straight. Because if you don't have the wheel straight, the bike is going to pull to the left or the right. So ensure that you line up the rear wheel properly.
So where are they lining it up at?
If you look right
These
here.
lines right here?
Yes.
Yeah, no, the lattice part, this is the waist. That's like, I like to have the BLT. So I can't have it because I can't don't have it. Now, Terry, if you could
Now that we have adjusted the chain, you have to make sure that you don't overly tighten the chain. Because if you overly tighten the chain, what happens is you put extra force on the front sprocket. And on this front sprocket, there's a bearing behind there. So the tighter you put the chain, the more pressure you put on that bearing. And eventually, you'll ruin that bearing and you'll have to have that bearing replaced. In order to replace that bearing, you got to split the casing. So it's a good thing not to overly tighten your chain. If you're watching, if I'm judging this, we're talking about a 1/2 inch of movement. Now that we have the tire and the rear axle tightened, as we spin the wheel, all you hear is the chain on the teeth of the sprockets. It's not clicking, it's not binding, it's not doing anything. That's what you want. So now we're going to ensure that our front sprocket is tightened. We're going to get Mr. Skillman to hold the brakes for me, rear brakes. Now, the front sprocket is tight too. All we have to do now is put our cover back on. Now, putting the cover back on, we have to ensure that we line it up properly. We had a cotter pin that fell out. Make sure if your pins fall out, you put them back in. Maybe we might want to put this back on, the speed sensor first. Now, let's line it back up. Make sure our pins are pushed in all the way. Now, very important, we got 4 bolts. But the bolts are different sizes. Got too long, too short. You have to make sure that you do not put the long bolt into where the short bolt is, because if you do, you're going to bust your cases. And you can easily tell which bolt goes where. Short. Short. The sign tell to tell where a bolt goes at, they all should stick out the exact same amount. That's how you know if you have the bolts in the right place. Let's get them all started. Before we tighten them, let's start all 4 of them. So we make sure everything is aligned. Now that we have the front sprocket cover back on, we make sure that we tighten it properly. Once we do that, make sure that we plug our kickstand switch back up, because if you forget, the bike ain't gonna start. We're gonna put our gear shifter back on. Now that we've changed the front sprocket and ready to take this out to the track and see what's going on, see if Mr. Skillman can keep it on the ground. We want to thank everybody that's been following us. We've been having a lot of fun teaching, racing, family. We've been enjoying y'all just like y'all been enjoying us. You know, like I said before, I read all of the comments and I actually respond to 98% of them. And one of the comments that I responded to was a young gentleman named Titus Gunn. He said that he follow us. He's doing some things in life that, you know, he needs some encouragement. So we are here to ensure that we keep him encouraged and make sure that he continue to watch Ghost Gang Mania. And we're going to continue to keep doing what we're doing. And he said he loves to drag race,
Either a
and
bad
he's going
start
to get
slip or
back
he's
to
got
it.
something backfeeding to the starter.
And when he gets back to it, guess what? Hopefully he be as good as us at Ghost Gang. So, Ghost Gang, thank y'all, and we appreciate everything.
All right, y'all, we're here. Where are our stickers at? Send them. 30-30. Y'all already know we got Mr. Skillman on high grits. Y'all hear that sticky? Alright guys, here we go. Alright, dirty 30 go.
That's what I thought I did. And then I was seeing some other lights flashing, and I was like, fuck it, come on, it's all good. For the next time.
You can't be giving him nothing.
I can get the sign. Next time.
I got no one pound.
All right, Ghost Gang. Hey, we here at the track and that awesome. Hey, we got Mr. CHP himself.
What's happening, everybody?
Hey, for all y'all who don't know who this is, this young man, he's a super tuner. He tunes anything and everything.
I try.
He tried, but he does a real good job.
Just trying to make a dollar.
But for anybody that needs something tuned, if you need to get in contact with him, we're gonna put his information down in our information, and y'all can contact him. He does a real good job.
Appreciate it.
Alright, we're going with 30 on No Justice, No Peace this time. Alright, No Justice, No Peace looking low.
know you can't see shit, but we're leaving Valdosta, a Dell drag strip, and we had a pretty good day. We only made about 4 passes, but those 4 passes just meant that we got better and better. We got some data, so we can go back and change some things. We had a good night.
Really good night. Really good night. Sometimes when you go to the track, you can't get them 20 passes in. You got to dial in real quick. You might be rushed a little bit. You know, everything, you know, the track, a lot of delays. You had a lot of delays tonight, so mentally, you know, you had to stay in it. You had to stay in it. Every time you got ready, you had to really zone in real quick. You didn't have time to just have fun and hot lap all day or all night. And sometimes that can spoil you. You know what I mean? I know I'm spoiled to it. When you go to the track, you spend good money, and you never know what the conditions are gonna be like. But a hell of a time. We made some modifications, progress to No Justice, No Peace. Learned a lot. You know, was able to correct the situation and increase performance. You know, just by paying attention. So great learning experience tonight, especially for myself. Hot grits. I can't wait to just continue to learn out here and just have a good time. Leave it all on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's to all of those Facebook fans, or those Facebook racers that called us out.
I saw some people there. I saw our Georgia idols and rivals out there, but
We had a
I didn't see too much Jacksonville out there.
We had all these rivals talking about they gonna go to the track. They was going out to Valdosta. We show up. The only person I seen from Jacksonville was Chris Hall.
Chris Hall, shout out.
We had Chris Hall in the house. Look tiny, but you know he big as hell, so we call him Tiny, but Tiny was in the house. And, with that said, we had a good time. We fellowshipped, as Hot Grits always call it.
Even though we had a lot of delays, I would shout out, you know, I like going to Valdosta. The track's very well prepped, and the staff is actually very good there. You learn a lot too. The staff they're a good staff. I like them. They do their best. They out there making sure that track is clean and safe, you know, no matter what. They're patient. I like them.
But as we say, thank y'all for tuning in and watching us, enjoying the enjoyment of us having fun.
That's right.
So at some point, we needed some of y'all to come out to the track with us
Yeah.
and have a good time. Because guess what? We just having fun.
Yep.
And that's what this is about. So let everybody know Ghost Game Mania is on.